The world does not run on headlines, it runs on people who care. I'm Peter Murphy Lewis, and this is People Worth Caring About. Alongside my co-host, Jaylene Carpenter, we sit down with the unsung heroes, caregivers, healers, helpers, the ones doing the real work, even when no one is watching. These conversations are not polished, they're personal, because behind every act of care is a story worth hearing. New episodes drop regularly. Get updates at peopleworthcaringabout.com.
Hey everyone, this is Peter. We'll do that again. Hello everyone, this is People Worth Caring About. You don't have to take that out. I'm your host, Peter Murphy Lewis, and I'm here with my co-host, Jaylene Carpenter. Say hola, Jaylene.
We're not saying hola. You're going to sound wrong.
Today's guest is going to be fun. He's not only rocking a cool shirt that probably shouldn't be worn in the Midwest, but he is a friend of Jaylene, therefore a friend of the show, director of strategy at QRM Health. Welcome to the program, Kyle.
Thank you. Super excited to be here.
Tell me how you pronounce your last name.
So it's Benesch.
Benesch.
It throws a lot of people for loops, but Benesch, yeah.
And I know not everyone is watching this show, but where does Kyle Benesch get a cool tropical shirt like that?
So the tropical shirts, this was, Jaylene knows the story. We worked together at a company in Lincoln, and they had to have like button-up collared shirts, and so on Fridays we'd stick it to the man and wear Hawaiian shirts. And so for, 6 years it's been Hawaiian Shirt Friday. Like, it's a custom that doesn't die, so...
Before I let Jaylene start off, I ask you some questions. I want to ask you one odd question, Kyle, because this show is not straightforward. Is it true that you are or were a professional auctioneer and you once sold a 60-foot setup?
So the auctioneer thing, that was like a COVID, it was a break. And I literally like posted on LinkedIn saying like, I'm leaving senior living, but I'll be back. And I was like, who doesn't get impacted by COVID? And I was like, farmers. And so I went and did an online ag auction for about a year. And then when I came back to senior living, Jack York had the infamous tailgating, trailer that he needed to sell. So we were in Sarasota, Florida, a year after I hung my auctioneer hat up selling the Jack York's tailgate trailer. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you know that, Jaylene?
Yes, and honestly, Peter, that's like one of the least coolest things that I know Kyle has done. He's done many cooler things.
This is going to be good. Let's hear it.
Buckle up.
Are you ready? Like, Kyle, are you sure?
Well, Peter, I lead with almost every time I meet someone I lead with. I am a former mortician. And so that's actually how Jaylene and I met. Yeah. So when Jaylene was an administrator, I was the mortician, serving a community of about 4,000 people. That's how I got to know Jaylene.
Let's back up a little bit. By mortician, it was like, I am 19 years old and I went to like assistant mortician school, right?
Yeah. I was fully licensed, and I was would have been 22. Yeah.
Oh, 22. Yeah, because so much farther than the 20-year-old that you look like.
So much older.
Okay, Peter.
So many follow-up questions. Keep
so
going.
Many questions.
How long? Now, I got until like 8 o'clock tonight. We could be on this thing forever.
I have 72 hours.
I love it.
Peter, do you want to ask a real question, or do you want me to just keep teeing up softballs? Because I feel bad. I feel like you are going to
teeing them up.
You're going to be left out of this conversation, Peter.
That's fun.
Okay. So, Kyle, do share what is your memory of me as the administrator when you were when you were helping serve?
I know where you're going with this. Well, I have two. On the funny note, I am happily married now, but at the time I was a young single lad in Wahoo. And Jaylene did have some relatively attractive nurses, and I would have to flirt with the nurses as I did, the lunch ladies and everyone, just naturally flirtatious. And Jaylene had to tell me to stop flirting with the nurses.
I had to tell him to stop flirting with the nurses.
It wasn't creepy. It was just, I don't know, it probably is creepy.
Jaylene, it's Nebraska, and you're not HR.
But luckily I did meet my wife, and I was able to stop the flirtation with CNAs.
Did you
But
meet your
then,
wife in senior living?
I did not. Actually, I tell everyone I met my wife on Tinder, which is true story. We didn't tell anyone that until we got married. But once you're married, it's safe to admit. But the other story, Jaylene and I, we had, I don't, like I say, I was a part of it, but norovirus struck Jaylene's community on Christmas, 2022. And Jaylene, I think we had like 5 or 6 residents pass away. I mean, it was just crazy. And so we felt like we went to war together, and hard time. And, it was one of those experiences where the phone just kept ringing. It's just always a hard situation. And so.
Yeah. And 2022
we
would
got
be
to know
inaccurate.
each other pretty well.
Yeah. 2022 is inaccurate, dude. That was like 2016. Like you weren't a mortician
sorry,
in 2022.
I'm off on years. It's by the time 2 o'clock rolls around, like my pill's starting to wear off and details start getting a little fuzzy. So yeah, it's the witching hour.
Did you flirt with people when you were a mortician too?
Oh, the lunch ladies especially. Yeah. Wahoo! I have a little whiskey glass that says Mayor Benesch, and they called me the mayor of Wahoo forever. And I don't know, I did it with crappy jokes and I guess horrendous flirtation.
And really bad suits.
Horrible. It's like a standard to be a mortician. You have to wear like a size 2, like 2 sizes too big. I mean, you're physically lifting a lot. And so, those haven't seen the light of day in a long, long time.
So we'll fast forward. So I guess we should probably introduce you, Kyle. We just jumped right in. Peter, you do this better than I do. So, you're more professional. Like, how do we get Kyle to give a proper introduction?
No. I came into this because Jaylene asked me about a month ago, is it okay if we have a sales guy on? But he has really interesting. So I didn't prepare for this on purpose, Jaylene. You're leading this. I should have told you that though.
Yeah, that's what we do in like the prep work time.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle. So your LinkedIn, number 1 first says proud husband, and then it says long-term care, nursing home advocate, and you're in sales. And so tell me, why do you call yourself an advocate? And maybe give us your history too of what you've done in senior living.
I just got crazy chills. I don't know why, but I mean, like saying that I'm in sales, like in this industry, it's, I don't know, being a mortician, like while I'm super grateful for that experience, it taught me maybe more than anything ever will in life. I hated it. And like, I was truly depressed. I was miserable. Like it was a hard job, and being around that environment was difficult. And like making the decision to go back to school at 24 was like, it was horrifying. I had a mortgage and went full bore. I was full time at University of Nebraska. I was full time at a community college trying to get like a 4-year degree crunched down to 2. And upon graduating, like found NRC. They were like, what are your interests? And I told them, well, I used to be a mortician, and I've been in some nursing homes, and that's where they placed me. And it took a few months, but like I remember going to my first ACA and seeing like the videos, seeing the stories, like it was real. And like, I don't know how to describe it. It's a drug. And when you are around those type of people, when you meet caregivers, when you meet operators who are like filled with passion and love, like it's addicting. And the fact that someone pays me to do this and I get paid to travel the country to be able to engage with rock stars like Jay Lead and the caregivers around the world, like it's awesome. And it just goes back to being a mortician, getting to experience those people. Like the totally different view when you're meeting these CNAs who are like, they were crying. Like, we have residents pass and it was like their family, and you experience that and you're around those people. It's hard not to get jacked up. It's hard not to get mad when you see the crap that happens into our industry. And so like, I consider myself an advocate because it's the only thing that I'm like super passionate about besides Husker football and senior living, like 2 big things in my life, but it's a full life.
I want to know why being a mortician made you depressed and working in senior living didn't. I think that 99 out of 100 people in the United States would be depressed in both.
Totally. So in like, I shouldn't say like I wasn't just depressed because like being a mortician, like it would have been way different had I met Kayla, had I been like a family man, maybe during that time. To be, I mean, I graduated, 18 being a mortician, like I just don't think I was equipped. Like the human brain's not ready to bring on like that type of grief and like seeing what families go through. And like I remember the veterans home in Grand Island vividly. And like anytime like we did veteran services and they would do the 21 gun salute, I bet I saw it 100 times and I think I cried every time. Like it's impossible. You don't have a stole if you don't go through that process and not feel that. And so I think it was just constantly like always being around everyone's worst day was a lot. What makes me love senior living is I'm like, it feels like I'm a part of something. Whereas like when you were the mortician, like no one really wants to be friends with the guy who's like serving their family during that time. And it was almost like kind of isolating. Senior living, like, I don't know. Well, I'd go places and people know who I am. You're a part of something bigger. And then you just meet these people. You guys know it. Peter, you spent your time making the documentary, right? When you meet these people, it's impossible not to feel moved. And yeah, there's really crappy things that are happening, but it's far outweighed by the awesome, awesome stories you hear, the experiences, the people you meet. I'll go back to saying it. It's a drug. It's like the most addicting thing I have is engaging with these people and to do this every day.
So I'm gonna let you decide which way you want to go next, Kyle. You talked about your medication wearing off, and you've been actually very public about your ADHD online, which is funny because I think, so you want to address that, or I kind of what you talked about crying every time you would hear the gun salute. You and I think are very confident criers. Like we're all in, right? We feel like we watch the quality award ceremony every year, and Kyle and I would be crying like in the front row together. I want to hear your memory and just sort of the experience of coming to the docuseries premiere. So you pick which ADHD docuseries premiere. What do you want?
I can tackle ADD pretty fast. I mean, it's no shock that I've had like my whole life, and I think it's this absolute superpower. And so like I've never hit it. Like I put something on LinkedIn about like going back on medication, which like it was a scary thing because sometimes like ADD meds can be weird. And I put a video out and like I bet I had 60 people slide into my DMs like, "You're so brave. Like this is so incredible." I'm like, no, like it's not brave. It's just this is my day-to-day life. Like, I don't know anything different. And so once I found out that people were like, I sound like a loser. I'm like inspired. Like, why not talk about this? Like it's natural. Like 1 out of every 5 people have it. So like, why not admit it and why not have it? So I'm a proud ADD rep. That'll probably be the next LinkedIn tagline as the ADD sales guy. But the premiere was, it was just a culmination of like what we truly experience. And Jaylene, I think you warned me. I think warning is a good word. You warned me that this wasn't going to be like typical senior living, like marketing, like where we see the same guy smiling on every website. You said this was going to be very real, and it felt real. Like it was finally a testimony of like what actually occurs in buildings, like what people go through. It wasn't canned. It wasn't fake. It was really authentic. And so I was crying long before some of the more harder hit portions of it. Like I cry because I'm happy more than I cry because I'm like sad. And some of those videos of just the way residents light up around those caregivers, like that will make me cry. It's cool. It's like I said, it's impossible not to be moved by seeing how incredible someone's day can be made because it's DNA. A good time to be awesome.
Kyle,
long-winded answers too, folks.
You are giving long-winded
another sign of the pill wearing off. I have zero concise ability today.
You did say right before we hit record that you were really, really nervous. So unfortunately, we didn't get that. But we wouldn't expect it from somebody who dresses like you. Kyle,
I hide it well.
you said that you're a crier, or Jaylene called you a confident crier. I find that vulnerable men, therefore self-aware men in the Midwest, are far and few between. I'm interested in how you've changed, mostly from your different jobs. Like, how are you different today than you were 2 years ago and 4 years ago, as a husband, as a community man, as
I mean, you're spot on. Like when I was a mortician, I remember watching Marley and Me and like not even cracking a frown. I was like, something's broken in me. I mean, like I would tear up during the 21 Gun Salute, but like I was having experiences in my life that like my emotional box was like numb to. And I think it was just because you have to be so callous to be in that industry. And then I don't know what happened. Like I lost all of that. Now I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, and I tear up watching sports. I tear up when I see like old people holding hands. Like I don't know, it's like the opposite. Now I'm just open up. But yeah, I think Peter, you kind of nailed it. Like crying's natural. Was it Jimmy V whose quote of like, if you laugh every day and cry every day, like that's a great way of like living life. I don't know the full quote, but it's true. And I don't know, pure form of emotion, and I'm kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve, I guess.
do you learn beyond being present, beyond experiential? Do you learn through books, through travel, through being alone, through sports, through running? I know that I feel like you and I are pretty similar. I feel like most of things I learn is by getting my hands in it. I think that's what I did in People Worth Caring About. So I'm wondering what other ways you learn.
So you hit two awesome ones. I haven't read a book since high school. I don't think I don't have the attention span for books.
Kyle.
I feel bad. I'd be lying if I said I was a motivational book reader. But two things: travel was huge, because NRC took me and they put me in New York and New Jersey, and I am a redneck from Nebraska. Like the farthest that I'd ever traveled was like Kansas City, and so I take first job kid and put him in New York and New Jersey and talk about like the culture shock of meeting like many of these Orthodox Jewish providers and vendors. It was alarming. And at first I was super uncomfortable. I felt super isolated. I was like mad that NRC like did that to me. I was like, why can't I serve the Midwest? And then like within 6 months, it like flipped, and I got super ingrained in the culture and community in New York and New Jersey and the East Coast. And it's really changed me. Like it's changed my views on politics. It's changed my views on the world. Like traveling makes people, I guess, less ignorant, and it opens your view that you're not just in your own little Nebraska bubble. But then like getting the hands-on too, like there's nothing that beats getting to go into communities. And I think more vendors, more sales people, they should be in community. Like what we're doing on a Zoom screen is not what like our services, our companies do. Like it's actually in buildings, it's actually having an impact. And so for me, I love those experiences. I love being able to get in, meet people, and see like, what am I selling and how is it actually making an impact with the end people and the residents?
All right, I'm going to let Kyle, because you and I have had this conversation, and I attended my first conference with Peter it's been a couple of months ago now. But Kyle, one thing I love most about you is your ability to like just kill a conference and get every value piece out of it. And I think if there's any salespeople listening, can you please give them the like Kyle Benesch approach to attending a conference?
Question. Can I refine it a small piece?
Oh, fine.
Oh, this is so good, Jaylene. I'm glad you asked this. So, Kyle, what are small things that you think good salespeople don't do that great salespeople do?
Well, I think, like I said, I don't want to get on some soapbox, but your product is minuscule in the grand scheme of like what happens in senior living, what happens in the lives of residents. And I think people they get so caught up in what they're selling, and they don't really want to absorb anything else. And so like, to me, I sit in on a lot of sessions, and like, I want to learn more about the industry. I don't want to learn just about like my product. I want to be understanding of everything. I think you meet people who are extremely talented at business development and making relationships, but they fall short on wanting to grow and wanting to understand more, because then you're not so myopic. Like, you can actually understand bigger value. You can understand ways that you can additionally help people when you're actually participating in the conference and not just going to the trade show trying to swing sales.
I because you're friends with Jaylene, I feel like I can throw a jab at you.
Please.
You could have just said, "Be curious."
Oh, 1,000% Ted Lasso.
But that was good. That was true, because I noticed that not only do good salespeople not go to the sessions, they don't ask any other questions. Once they realize that you're not a fit for their product, they're uninterested in you. I guarantee that's not you, right? Like, you're trying to figure out what are you going to do tomorrow when you drive home? Are you going camping with your kid? Oh, cool. Like, where do you guys camp? Why do you go there?
And sincerely, like, some of my best friends in the industry they never bought from me. We've never partnered. Like, I have a lot of good, close operator friends who we are friends because we are friends. And I think it's a backwards way of thinking about sales. Like you just said, Peter, like, when someone's not interested in you, like, you write them off. If people would have the intention of like not making money, like, if you don't think about it that way, think about like, how can I make this relationship, how can I make their life better and over deliver on basically the problem that they're having? Like, how can my solution over deliver on that? If you have that mentality, like, the finance side comes super, super easy. And you meet sales reps who think, they look at someone, like, they see the commission check on their forehead. And so you're right. It dehumanizes the interaction. You don't get to have those authentic relationships getting formed because you're thinking about business. And that's just not the way I want to operate.
So you have to finish answering, since Peter hijacked my question, finish answering the question of, give us like the Kyle Benesch how to a conference. Like, when you go to a conference, what are your priorities? What are you looking at? What are you doing?
And I'm like, it's hard to answer that because not so many conferences are just so different. Like, if we think like all of them are created equal, I mean, there's so many different cultures with this industry. Like, you have New York, New Jersey, like the Orthodox Jewish community, nonprofits, for-profits. Like, there's so many different blends and mixes of people. And I think like the one thing that I can just guarantee and say is like, you have to be adaptive. I refer to myself as like a cultural chameleon. Like, you have to roll with whatever the environment that particular one is. And so many sales reps I meet, like, they have no ability of getting outside of like their culture bubble. And so when they go to a conference that's foreign to them, they struggle because they're not comfortable with those interactions. It's kind of interesting to watch.
Jaylene, did you notice, since you've been picking on me all day, it was hard for him to answer your question, so I should have hijacked that one?
Oh,
No.
I'm terrible at answering questions. Sorry, guys.
He's giving me a hard time because I asked a bad question.
Oh,
all right,
Like
Kyle. I've
he's
never
some
been
expert.
Kyle, I've never been truly a salesperson. I've had to do sales, but never been hired. How do you prepare for a conference in terms of attendees? Like, what does your list look like? What are you looking for? What are you trying to understand about them?
It used to be different. Like, you know a lot more people. Like, the more you do this, the more people you know. And so, like, being honest, like, the first thing I do is I fly through and I look to see like which of my friends are going to be there, and I text them like, "Hey, we're going to be together." And obviously, like, I'd be terrible at my job if I wasn't like reaching out and soliciting our services. But to me, like, the opportunity of being physically present, like just showing up, is like the biggest thing. Like, yes, we can reach out, but Peter, there's 700 emails and calls go out to these people who are corporate. Like, my whole outreach isn't going to do a whole heck of a lot, but like, if I can know which one of my friends are going to be there, vendor friends are going to be there, and start those relationships before we get there, like, that's what's key. I'm sure inboxes get pretty slammed pre-conference stuff. When Jaylene sends out the list with all the emails and all the sales reps get to work, I'm sure it's pretty overwhelming for the operators. Yeah.
I got 2 rapid fire questions for you around sales. You ready?
And then I'm taking back over. I'm taking
All right,
over
now-
after.
We'll see. Okay, first one is best icebreaker inside of a trade show.
I always ask, is there anything that you came to conference to learn?
Ooh, good one. Next one, and then Jaylene's going to hijack the show, is as a salesperson, is it better to be a great golfer or a bad golfer?
I hate golf. I literally, at leading age New York, I golfed with a foursome, and I said, I feel like I'm ruining your guys' round. And the guy goes, you are. So this is my only golf
So bad
experience.
golfer is the
Yeah,
only option you have.
I do not do the golf day. I don't even know, like, people ask me. I do know good golfers, like Evan Kuo is a phenomenal golfer, and he golfs at, like, the conference stuff. But I don't know if it's super prevalent everywhere. I think you can be a pretty crappy golfer and be all right in this industry. I don't know. It's not fine. It's not like finances or insurance, I guess. So we're safe from that.
Well, I feel like we've sort of honed in on Kyle, the sales guy, but Kyle, to me, you are so much more than that.
I appreciate that.
And there's a few stories that, hopefully I don't make you cry, but in your short, brief stint away from senior living, you not only did the auction thing, but you had to manage people. And that from what I remember, had a huge impact on you. Do you want to talk about what it meant
Do you
to
mind?
manage
Do you mind if
people?
I grab a quick
Yeah,
picture here?
You can grab it. Yep. We're going the same direction here, Peter.
Look at the waterworks going.
As long as it's not a direct report, don't grab a direct report and pull them in.
No. So Jaylene, like, she nailed it. Like, I had to manage people for the first time, and having a at the time 28-year-old kid who doesn't know a combine from a watermelon, like, come in and try to manage people who are slinging tractor equipment was the scariest thing I've ever done. And I found they had a rock star sales rep, and they said, like, you're going to meet Mark. Mark's your best guy. Like, just get out of his way, and, like, you'll be fine. Like, you don't need to really mess with him. He's like a phenomenal sales rep. And I called him, and he wasn't, like, off-putting, like, towards me. Like, he was very supportive, and he was very excited to work with me. But, like, at first, like, he didn't trust me. Like, he wouldn't tell me about any deals he had until they were done, finished. And I felt like I have to, like, win this guy over. And every morning at 8 o'clock, I would call Mark and ask him, like, questions about agriculture, questions about everything. And, like, we talked at 8 o'clock and at 5 o'clock every day, asking each other, like, what happened, what's going on. And we formed, like, a super close friendship to the point where, like, we were calling each other on weekends. And it was incredible to watch the man go from, like, not trusting to having, like, that tight of a bond. Not because I was some driver of people, but, like, we got to know each other as humans and friends, and we formed that connection. Like, I would run through a brick wall for him. He would have ran through a brick wall for me. And I called Mark on the day that I was closing on my house in Lincoln to move to Wisconsin. And his wife answered the phone, and she had said that Mark had passed away. And it was the hardest day of my life. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. I don't ever want to experience anything like that again. But I mean, Mark was legitimately 80% of our business, but that's the business side of things. He taught me so much about perseverance and, like, truly, part of my French is truly giving a shit. Just having care for things on a different level than business, and, like, treating people the way you'd want to be treated. And so this was Mark, and Mark was such an awesome guy. And losing Mark, like, you talk about, like, reframing life and, like, rehabbing things. I truly, you want to live every single day knowing that, like, I could get smoked by a bus tomorrow. And I wish I never had to have that education lesson because of Mark, but it's changed the way I live. It's not, you don't have you don't have a guarantee that we have tomorrow. And so like the way I try to communicate with people, I try to gas people up. I never want to be the guy to like rip people down, because I mean, sincerely, like people struggle and it's really easy to criticize them. But if you lift someone up and gas someone up, it takes such little effort to make that happen. Once again, sorry for a really long-winded answer, but like that's what that taught me. And it also was nice to not have to be in senior living during COVID. I didn't want to be harassing people, and so the second thing was just getting to be away during that horrible crisis. So
Sorry.
you knew where you were going with that one. It's the cool thing about Mark had we bought him an axe for hitting $1 million in sales. Like, what do you give a guy who hits $1 million? And so I bought him an axe and had it engraved, and like when Mark passed, they had it next to his urn. And so like that's, to me, like that's how you know you make someone's difference. Like when the family recognizes that like that was something that was cool. And I mean, I don't know, it's neat to be able to share those experiences with people. I'm getting some
Peter,
weird background on my end. Is that me?
I'm getting weird background noise too.
Oh, I
Are
don't.
you?
No, I'm good.
Huh. There it went away.
All right, maybe it's you leaning too close to your microphone, Jaylene.
Oh my God! Stop.
Or maybe that tanning salon light that you have on yourself.
There's no what?
It's Nebraska. You guys
Just
don't have
sunny.
any mountains to block the sun.
There's a window. Like, so get it back
Yeah.
on the rails here, Peter.
I
mean, I can keep going.
Dig up to get the old emotional box going, Jaylene. I mean,
Yeah, I
Christ.
only have one more question, Jalen, and then I'll let you wrap it up. Kyle, you've done a lot of diverse jobs. I'm sure you're aware of jobs that you wouldn't be good at, and I bet you're aware of other jobs that you would like to do. What's a job that you'd like to do that you think you're going to be bad at?
Oh, I mean, Jaylene knows this. I called Flip Border. I told him the same thing. I want to be like the head of vendor relations for ACA. Like that's like the pipe dream. And so would I be bad at it? Maybe. I'm not the most organized guy in the world. I'm sure you have to be pretty polished to be able to do that. But I think what I would make up for, horrible disorganization could hopefully be made up with, raw enthusiasm and vendor connections out the wazoo. But that's like the
great.
ultimate dream. Yeah,
We'll just put a secretary underneath you and it'll be good.
it would be. But enough Ritalin and a secretary, and I can probably conquer that world.
You have such emotion in everything you do. Like I just love that you get so excited about working in this space. I have two questions. One, looking back in your time, what is your proudest moment? Like whether it was in a facility, in whatever job it was, or like what are you most proud of?
So this one you were a part of. So we're all in the NRC offices when the pandemic breaks out, and I had just traveled, and they sent out like an email on like a Tuesday morning that said like, if you recently traveled, like you need to leave the office like now and go home. And like that was like my last day in the office ever, which is nuts to think about. Like we thought like this would be like 2 weeks and we'd be back. Or they said you needed to go home for a 2-week period and you can come back. And so I went home, and I mean, not shocking knows this, like I'm a social creature. And so going from having like the closest tight-knit bullpen office to going home with like 2 dogs and a wife who worked all day, like I went freaking nuts. And so like I was home for probably 6 hours, and I was like, I can't do this. Like I have to go do something. So I went and made 2 signs. One said like, not all heroes wear capes, like most wear scrubs. And I can't remember what the other one said. And I literally drove to the closest assisted living, and I stood outside the windows and I just held these signs up for like 2 hours. And someone took a picture of it and put it on the news, and like all these people are texting me like, oh, this is super cool. Like, that's awesome. So we got to thinking like, what if we did this on like a bigger scale? And so like the entire rest of the year for COVID, we called them like the hero welcomes, and we would call buildings. I think they thought I was like nuts at first, because I would call like HR, and I'd say, hey, first I said, can I hand out beer in your parking lot? Because like, I don't know, like you're having a hard day. What about a free beer when you get off the ship? Like, no, we can't do that. I was like, well, what if we at least like held up signs like showing our support? Like, we would love that. And so I don't think there was a single building who rejected the idea, but we would have shifts of NRC people who would show up with homemade signs like, we support you, we believe in you, thank you. And we would stand outside like the employee entrance from all shift changes. So people were like leaving their houses at like midnight to go make sure that we got the third shift change, and
Whoa.
telling nurses and caregivers during the pandemic, like, we are here for you. Like, because what else could we do? Like, we're not cold calling to sell surveys during the pandemic. And it was just something that I think that was like my proudest moment of this industry. And like, I don't know, to me, it's like the Bible says, like, pray in your house quietly type of deal. I'm like, when it comes to backing up these caregivers, like, screw that. Like, we should be loud. Like, more people should be showing up with signs saying like, you're awesome. And so the pride thing is, I feel like, Jaylene, after we made like that video and like started promoting it, so many other companies started doing it. Like, there was a movement that like companies were like, all right, maybe we should stop selling and be more like supportive during this time. And so, long answer, showing support was monster league pride, and still proud of it today.
I love it. I love it. Do you have a follow-up, Peter? I know you do.
Drop the mic.
Yeah,
Nothing.
sorry.
Well, this is not a great way to end. Now Peter's gonna tell me like afterwards, Jaylene, you should have left it there. But
I don't
we
need
can
to
edit.
say anything. Everyone will know. Go ahead.
No. One of my favorite things about you, Kyle, is your LinkedIn. Well, we haven't talked about your LinkedIn account yet.
My friends all follow and make fun of me for it too. And
I'm not making
I
fun
think
of you.
it's
I
outrageous.
love it.
Like, people will send like my like growing up childhood friends will like take screenshots and they're like, you sap. And I'm like, I don't know. To me, Matt Reiner says it best. Like, he doesn't use LinkedIn to sell. He's like, I use LinkedIn so when I show up, people think that they already know me. And it's so true. Like, I'll go places, but we've met. Like, I know we've met. And we haven't. They just see me. And so, like, the thing that I'm just a believer in is I'm just super transparent. I'm not going to fake it and be anyone I'm not on LinkedIn. Like, I talk about my family. I talk about, the history of having depression, old career. And then I put some things about my company. But for the most part, I want people to know who I am. So when you meet me and you realize I'm like, kook, you're not thinking like, oh, this guy is Looney Tunes. It's like, it's actually who I am. I would hate for anyone to think that I'm putting on an act for them at a conference or a first interaction.
No. Kyle, you have been you started out not as a friend, as a somebody
As a flirt.
as a flirt.
That's all right.
And but I've been so lucky to call you my friend for so long now. It's to the point where one of my favorite Kyle things is when he's back home, he doesn't live in Nebraska anymore, but when he is home, his parents don't live far from my house. And Kyle, you want to say what you do every time you're back home?
If I don't have time to stop, I'll just fly by and I just lay on my horn, 60 seconds of passing Jaylene's farmhouse, just so she knows. Probably my favorite thing with you, though, is we haven't done it in a while, but I used to be calling Jaylene once a week for Senior Living 101. And the agreement was for every question, I'd get her a beer. So I'd have to bring back case of 24 spotted cows because the question got stacked up pretty deep. But Jaylene, right back at you. You've been one of the best resources and educators for me in this space. And maybe if we didn't meet, I wouldn't be such a Senior Living cheerleader. So you might have to blame yourself on that one.
I'll take it.
Kyle, it was a pleasure. I know the only thing for the listeners to do after hearing your story is go look you up on LinkedIn. Kyle Benesch, thank you so much for joining our podcast.
Peter, if I can give you one plug too, man, this probably the first thing before LinkedIn, and people need to really go watch your guys' docuseries. I mean, if you are a vendor in this space and you haven't taken the time to go through those episodes and watch it, see what the impact on everything that we are doing makes on these residents' lives. I mean, it is the truest description and explanation of why we are all here doing what we're doing. So absolute tip of my cap to your work there, Peter. It is everything that Jaylene hyped it up to be and more. And so I would love to see that become, the next awesome thing on Netflix and shout it from the rooftops. So great work.
You haven't heard the news, Kyle. We are officially streaming. People Worth Caring About is on smart TVs, Roku. I said that wrong. Great. Now I'm gonna hear
I'm not gonna help you. Go ahead. Try it again. Let's hear it.
No. So yes, we are streaming. Roku, Apple TV, Fire Sticks, smart TVs. Kyle, we're streaming in every television across the country. It's so exciting.
I love it. You guys did a phenomenal job on that, and I hope that there are more imitators. We need more of these stories out there. So hopefully I'll start a trend and more states can jump on the Jaylene and Peter bandwagon. Let's get these stories out.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
That's a wrap on People Worth Caring About, born from the documentary Built to Keep the Stories Going. Shout out to Nebraska Healthcare Association and Jaylene Carpenter for helping launch it, and to Ohio and New Mexico for making future seasons real. Watch the docuseries online or at peopleworthcaringabout.com. And if this episode meant something to you, leave a review. It matters. Take care of yourself and the people worth caring about.